Hello, everyone. Welcome to Riffin with HB, where we talk about old school and underrated bands and trying to bring them into the masses for everybody to see. Today, we're talking about. I'm excited to cover this band. This is Black Keys. Um, so we got a little bit of reading we're gonna get into, and then I'm gonna break down some notes I wrote down myself. So give me just a second here and pull up my notes on my phone. Thank you guys for joining in. Right. Formed in Akron, Ohio in 2001. So finally got another band in 2000s, Black Keys. The group consists of Dan Auerbach on guitars and vocal and Patrick Carney on drums. The duo began as an independent act, recording music in basements and self-producing their records before they eventually emerged as one of the most popular garage rock artists during the second wave of the General's revival in the 2000s. The band's raw blues rock sound draws heavily from Auerbach's blues influences, including Junior Junior Kimbrough, R.L. Burnside, Howlin' Wolf, and Robert Johnson. All right. Garage rock, blues rock, punk blues, indie rock. Get some more in. So we'll break that down a little bit more in a second here. For instance, childhood. Um, Arbach and Carney formed the group after dropping out of college, and after signing with the independent record label Alive, they released their debut album, The Big Come Up, in 2002, which earned them a new deal with Fat Possum Records. And over the next decade, the Black Keys built an underground fan base through extensive touring of small clubs, frequent album releases, and music festival appearances, and broad licensing of their songs. And their third album, Rubber Factory, 2004, great album. It received critical acclaim and boosted the band's profile, eventually leading to a record deal with the major label um, Non Such Records in 2006. After producing and recording their first four records in makeshift studios, the duo recorded Attack and Release in 2008 in a professional studio and hired producer Danger Mouse, who subsequently became a frequent collaborator with the group. Come a couple times in this article right here. The group's commercial breakthrough came in 2010 when the album Brothers, which along with its popular single Tighten Up, won 3 Grammy Awards, which would probably be about the time that I started to listen to them. I'd be about 13 or so at the time. That's really when I started to like get into music. Seether and Black Keys, these guys were all coming into my life and swarming really every device that I had, my computer, my MP3 players, everything. It's filled up with Black Keys and Nirvana and these kind of blues rock bands, grunge bands, stuff like that. All right. Won 3 Grammy Awards, that album. Or actually says its single Tighten Up won 3 Grammy Awards. Their 2011 follow up, El Camino, received critical acclaim, peaking at number 2 on the Billboard 200 charts. It's pretty impressive. Be cool to see who else went on that year. Anyway, leading to the first arena concert tour of the band's career, the El Camino tour. The album hit its single Lonely Boy and won another 3 Grammy Awards. And in 2014, they released their 8th album, Turn Blue, their first number 1 record in the U.S. Great album. We were just listening to it before the show, actually. After completing the Turn Blue tour in 2015, the duo took a hiatus for several years to work on side projects and produce other artists. And that was a sad 7 years for us fans of Black Keys. But makes you love it more whenever it comes back around, because the duo returned in 2019 with their 9th album, Let's Rock. And it was fucking badass. Half the songs on the album I learned how to play immediately because they were dropping them about every week or so, if I remember correctly. But as the songs were coming out, I was learning every single one on guitar. It's my kind of music to play on guitar, really, honestly. A lot of people find that kind of blues rock repetitive, but it's really what I enjoy a lot. In 2021, they released Delta Cream, which is the album I'm working on now. It's called Deep Breaths and Baby Steps. It is inspired by the Delta Cream album. It's a tribute to songwriting Dropout Boogie. Or sorry, it's a tribute to Mississippi Hill country blues. And then returning to the original songwriting, Dropout Boogie was released in 2022. And in 2004, they released the Ohio Players. All fucking good albums, dude. So many good songs on these albums. Following that, they released No Rain, No Flowers on August 8th of 2025. And they have an album coming out soon. It's called Peaches, which is another cover album. And it's going to be released the beginning of May 1st, maybe. But I'll get to that here at the end. Guitarist and vocalist Dan and drummer Patrick. Oh, sorry, I'm rereading notes here. My bad. Oh, no, I'm not. They met whenever they were 9 years old, and they were casual friends while living in the same neighborhood of Akron, Ohio, a couple of houses down from each other. And they both became from musical backgrounds, and Arbach had a cousin of guitarist Robert Queen or Quine. I'm not sure who that is. I'm a veteran of New York's Avant, Avant, oh my gosh, Avant rock scene. I don't know. I have to look into that. Robert, let me write this down real fast. Okay, we'll get back to that. Carney is a nephew of saxophonist Ralph Carney, who performed several Tom Waits albums. And while attending Firestone High School, they became friends again. And though they were part of different crowds, Dan was captain of the high school soccer team, and Carney was a social outcast, is what they put it as. Well, maybe that's coming from them. Um, Encouraged by their brothers, the duo began jamming together in 1996. Dan was learning guitar at the time, and um, Patrick was he owned a 4-track recorder and a drum set. I don't know if I have that in my clips here, but I have a couple clips I want to show later on. And he said they talked about that in this interview. But after graduating, they both briefly attended the University of Akron before dropping out. So this is 2001, 2003. This is the formation of the big come up and thick freakness. Dan attempted to make a living from performing at small bars in town, but he realized they would not be able to book shows in other cities without a demo. To record one, he asked for help from Carney, who agreed to provide recording equipment and allowed his basement to be used if Dan recruited the other musicians. However, none of Dan's backing band showed up on the recording date. How typical. Instead, Carney and Arbach jammed, eventually leading to the duo forming a band in mid 2001 when they formed this band. Um, Together, they recorded 6-song demo consisting of old blues ripoffs and words made up on the spot with minimal equipment. After sending the demo to a dozen recording labels, they accepted an offer in 2002 from a small indie label in Los Angeles named Alive because it was the only label that would sign them without having to see them first. According to an interview on NPR's Fresh Air, the group's name, the Black Keys, came from an acquaintance diagnosed with schizophrenia, Alfred Moore. He would leave incoherent messages on their answering machines and referring to their fathers as quote unquote black keys, such as D flat, when he was upset with them. On March 20th, 2002, the duo played their first live show at Cleveland's Beachland Ballroom and Tavern to oops, to the audience of approximately 8 people. And then that's boomed their career. Kind of like we're doing right now. We got 6 people. So cheers, everyone. Let's see here. The band's debut album, The Big Come Up, was recorded entirely in Carney's basement on an 8-track recorder tape. Recorded in lo-fi and was released in May 2002, 3 months after they were signed to Alive. Only 3 months is crazy. The album, a mix of 8 original tracks and 5 cover songs, forged a raw blues rock sound for the group, and the covers included tracks originally by blues musicians Muddy Waters, Junior Kimber, R.L. Burnside, all fucking really great musicians. They formed what blues music is today. Even some of our famous rock bands, their inspirations for these guys. 2 tracks covered the traditional blues standard Leaving Trunk and the Beatles song She Said, She Said. They released a single on Isoda Records, and the track I'll Be Your Man would later be used for the HBO's series Home. There's some cool facts here. In order to help fund the tour, Arbach and Carney took jobs mowing lawns for a landlord. Despite modest sales, the big come up, it gained a cult following and attraction, and it attracted attention from critics, eventually landing the group a record deal with Fat Possum Records. And within days of signing to the record label, they completed their second album, Thick Freakness. So if we thought releasing an album 3 months after signing to a record was pretty impressive, they did it a couple days. It was recorded in Carney's basement again in a single 14-hour session. Fucking super impressive. That's putting in work, boys. 2002, an approach necessitated because the group spent a small advance payment for Fat Possum on rent. And the group had recorded sessions with producer Jeff Saltzman in San Francisco, but ultimately aborted them. And they were unhappy with the results. Sounded too much like modern rock radio. Imagine that. They tried to fucking modernize them, box them up, and make it sound like everyone else. So the Black Keys is so good. They have that really rustic sound to them. They stand out in that way so much. All their songs sound like so different. They have the same style, but it's like different band almost. All right. This is what we were just listening to for the show. This shit's really good. Um, in 2006, they released a cover album of the songs of Junior Kimbrough. It's a 6-track album, and it was the band's final release of the independent label Fat Possum. Having fulfilled their 2-album contract, the band signed with a major label, Non-Such Records. So that album is really fucking good too. Um, and then here, despite having the resources of a major record label available to them, the group elected to return to recording in Cardi's basement for its 4th studio album, Fuck Yeah Boys, Magic Potion, which is really fucking sick. Another great album. A lot of the songs on that album, I learned how to play the guitar. It was like whenever I first was learning how to play blues rock. Released on September 12th, 2006, the album was the group's first release on Non-Such and was, as well as its first album to comprise all original songs rather. And 3 of the singles that were issued, "You're the One," "Your Touch." Fucking "Your Touch" is so fucking new. That's a great song to play on guitar. And just got to be uh, in support of Magic Potion. The band embarked on the largest tour at that point, performing in large theaters and 1,000-seat venues. So, this is the album Brothers, where they started to really gain traction. Here it says the 6th studio album Brothers was released on 2010, recorded primarily at Muscle Shoals Sound Studio. Produced by Black Keys and Mark Neal, and the song "Tighten Up," the only track from the album produced by Danger Mouse, preceded the album as the lead single. You guys probably know that one. It's one of the more popular songs, and the song became their most successful single to that point, spending 10 weeks at #1 in the alternative songs charts. 10 weeks. It's crazy. I almost feel like I can bring myself back to that time whenever that was like the #1 song they were playing on every fucking radio station. Um, Since the song reached gold certification status, the music video for Tighten Up, directed by Chris Morris, won the 2010 MTV Music Video Award for breakthrough video rather. Sold 7,300 copies in the US in the first week. Pretty impressive, including 800,000 copies in the US. Certified double platinum in Canada, platinum in the US, and gold in the UK. That's crazy. The band continued to gain so much exposure through continued song licensing, so much that they were Warner Brothers' most licensed band of the year. Rolling Stone placed Brothers at number 2 on its list for best albums of 2010, and Everlasting Light at number 11 on the list of the year's best songs. It's crazy. We were just listening to Everlasting Light for the show. Great. It's crazy because it's like sounds so. He does like acrobatics with his voice on every song. Well, we were kind of joking around. We were saying it's either sounds like a girl that sounds like a dude or a dude that sounds like a girl. The 53 Grammy Awards, Brothers won its Brothers and its songs won an award in 3 of 5 categories, and they were nominated. And the band received honors for Best Alternative Music, Best Rock Performance by a Duo, and Best Recording Package. Blah blah blah. Awards, awards, awards. Famous, famous, famous. El Camino, 7th studio album, fucking really badass. Splitting time between touring and recording, the band spent 41 days. Which opened in 2010. And the duo's new hometown of Nashville, Tennessee. I was hearing Patrick talk earlier. He's got a house in South Carolina. That's where I'm from. It's pretty cool. Makes total sense. Southern boys. From the album Danger Mouse, blah blah. A lot of work with that guy. El Camino is a really great album. It's a lot more palatable for just like the mainstream people that want to listen to Black Keys, but it's one of my favorite albums, honestly. So like a really well put together album. So it makes more sense why it's easy for people who aren't really into rock and roll to swallow. Lonely Boy was released in October as the album's lead single, accompanied by a popular one-shot music video of a man dancing and lip singing, which you guys probably all know. You've seen the guy standing there dancing. I was watching an interview where they were talking about it, and basically they were trying to collaborate in music video. They didn't really like what they were putting together, so they had this one little clip of this guy dancing. And they were thinking to themselves like, "Damn, this guy like fucking spent all this time to like learn the words of the song and collaborate this dance to it. Like fucking just make him the music video." So that's how that shit got so iconic. It's organic as fuck, really natural how it plays out. The song became the group's best charting single in 7 countries, reaching number 64 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 2 on the Australian singles charts and number 33 on the Canadian Hot 100. And the song was certified 9 times platinum in Canada, triple platinum in Australia, and platinum in New Zealand and gold in Denmark. The band returned on to Saturday Night Live as a musical guest on December 3rd, 2011. And El Camino, I remember that show. It's crazy. And El Camino was released 3 days later and received wide critical acclaim. And in the US, it debuted number 2 on the Billboard 200. And it sold 200,000 copies in its first week, the highest single sales, and to that point, charting, and the highest sales single week sales to that point, charting position the group had achieved in the country. Many publications such as Rolling Stones, Times, and the Rolling Stones and Time ranked El Camino among the best albums of the year. Despite its later release, the album was certified double platinum in Australia, Canada, New Zealand, platinum in the US, UK, and Ireland, and gold in Belgium and New Zealand and France. All right. Then later on, Turn Blue comes out as well. This was pretty cool. So apparently, Mike Tyson. I'm talking like Mike Tyson. Oh my god, this is crazy, guys. What just happened here? Mike Tyson had them write a song for something that he was doing, so he owed them a favor, and in turn, he released their album on his Twitter. That's how they announced that they were releasing an album. It's fucking crazy. uh, with a cryptic teaser video actually as well, featuring hypnotists, and that's where the psychedelic swirl on the term Blue Album comes from. And it was released on May 13th. And as you guys may or may not know, Mike Tyson's a huge advocate for psychedelics as well. So in 2014, the album was released, and the record exhibits psychedelic rock and soul influences, and featuring a more melancholy tone. It says largely in part here dealing to Dan dealing with the divorce from his wife. And during the album sessions, the first single Fever was released on March 2024. And sorry, March 24th, rather. While the second single, Turn Blue, followed on April 14th. The album debuted number one in the US and Australia, and the band's first record to the top of the album charts in either country. And it was nominated. This is the fucking best part here. It was nominated for the Grammy for Best Rock Album, with Fever nominated for the Best Rock Song, as well as Grammy Award for Best Rock Performance. Fever is so fucking good. That shit's that, and what they're talking about in that music video, they're in a church and they are just fucking going haywire. It's pretty cool. All right, guys. They did a tour with Modest Mouse. My favorite bands we'll be covering here soon. During their Let's Rock album. And on April 13th of 2021, the Black Keys announced this album comprising 11 covers of Country Hill Blues, with the songs titled Delta Cream. That was a really good album. It's one of the ones I was mentioning that my album is based upon. Cover of John Lee Hooker's version of Crawling King Snake. Fucking really good song. And Peaches is the next album that's coming out, you guys. Stay tuned for that on February 5th. Or not February 5th, rather, but May 1st, 2026. In February 5th, 2026, they just released the Black Keys cover of You Got to Lose by George Thorogood and the Destroyers as the lead single to the cover album. So it's going to be really fucking badass. Now that we've fucking done all that. All right. We were listening to them before the show, and one of my friends mentioned this. Like, they have such a bouncy beat. You guys notice how all their songs. I was saying, mentioning that it's important to remember how your songs are going to impact a crowd whenever you're writing a song. And if you want them to be sitting down or being calm, then that's what you want them to be doing. But if you want to be performing to a live crowd, you want them to be up and moving, you have to make sure your music is bouncing up and down. It's something that people want to dance to. Black Keys have a really good way of doing that, both the guitar and the drums, and making it really match well together. And the language of music we talk about, sharing a brain. Yeah, and then also I mentioned this, that they can change the way they sound. Dan, his voice, the sound of the songs. They have a song for everyone. I've mentioned this in a couple of episodes ago about them, about how the sound of they can please everyone. Basically, they have a palette for everyone, because if you don't like hardcore rock, they have a slow blues song or a country song. They have a thing for everyone that it's really easy to swallow. But for me, I like all of those things. So it's very unique to be able to put it on a Black Keys playlist and get a little taste of everything, because that's how my playlists are anyway. They're all mixed up. And then banger after banger after banger, dude. Very few bands are like that. Even a lot of the bands that I've done shows on already that are bands that I put on a playlist where I can just listen to over and over and over. And Black Keys, I can do that all day long. I can go on and on and on. They produce their own fucking records, dude. And that's the way they did it, the way they wanted to. And instead of having people box them up and hold them to the sound that they want to be played on the radio, they did their own fucking thing. They did it their way. And I love that shit. Sticking to it, dude. And it takes a lot of work to be able to write your own songs and produce it. But at the end of the day, you're curating every step along the way, and people aren't going, hey, man, maybe you should just make it sound a little bit louder in this part. It's like people get in your fucking ear and tell you how to write your fucking music. That's ruins the art of it all. This is coming to you through you, and they're not the artists. And if they are, they should go start their own band. um, they know how to write a song and an album. I have that written down on my notes right here. They know how to not only to craft a song and to be able to do what a great story does and lift you up, take you on a journey, and then put you down and bring you back to reality. They do that with a whole album as well. The album will tell a story and it'll rise up. And in the middle of the album, you're like, man, I'm in this shit. And then by the time it ends, you're like, what the fuck just happened? That's crazy. It was an intense experience. And from song to song or album to album, it does that for all these albums. I mean, every fucking one of these albums is great. Thick Freakness and uh, Turning Blue and El Camino and on and on and on. All these albums are really great. Um, and if you, well, we were talking about this because, well, not everybody's into the hard rock loud guitars, and this band they lean on that because they don't have a bass guitar. It's just the drummer and the guitar. So they use a lot of that guitar to fucking push the power of the song. And he uses the guitar. And not only does he have a really great voice and is able to like use his voice as an instrument, but he uses his guitar as a voice. So it's a trade off. It's like creates a super full sound. And the same reason why the people are adverse to guitar and intense music like that. It's the reason why I enjoy it because it's the intensity that pulls me in because I don't veer away from things like that. I dive into things like I'm like, wow, that's so intense. That's an intense feeling, and I can see why people would be adverse to it. But they had to understand like, don't run from something that you don't understand. Instead, be intrigued by it. And like, wow, that's a really deep, intense feeling. Because, I mean, no disrespect to like instruments like piano and flute, they just have a different vibe. And if you want to be calm and like melancholy, then you play a flute and a piano. But if you want to fucking feel some energy and feeling, you play a guitar and you put some distortion on that shit, some stank on it, if you will, and it sounds really nice. And put it with that blues style, blues guitar, blues drums, and blues voice, blues lyrics. It fucking makes great music, dude. That everybody can listen to, really, if they're not picking, I guess. uh, and it can be blues rock can be pretty repetitive, right? Like because it's there's a style and a structure, and Dan and Patrick have figured it out. They understand blues music to its core. That's how they wrote these hot hits. Isn't because they didn't rewrite the wheel. They just took what these people have already instilled. Arl Burnside, these people like they created this blues sound, and they took it and were like, ah, fuck it, we're gonna put our own little style on it. It's just like I was talking about with Picasso. It's like these are the revolutionary artists doing revolutionary things. We're the ones like the students in the class learning like, oh, that's what you do to do this. That's crazy. You put a fuzz effect on your guitar and it gives it that crazy sound. Holy shit. Like start to learn about the intricacies of the music. Um, but it can be a little bit repetitive, but I kind of like that aspect of it, honestly. And it's part of what I enjoy about, da 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 da. But people are gonna get fucking really annoyed by that shit. I totally get it, but I fucking love it, man. Like honestly, I can't get enough of it. Um, yeah, basically all I got. My notes here. We read some comments. Yep, it's never bad. Black Keys is never fucking bad. It's just really good. So if everyone, thank you for being here. Cool, cool. Could we have a Prince Rippin day? I'm not familiar. Who's Prince Rippin? Tell me who Prince Rippin is. I'm out of the loop on that. Suddenly some little kid says to you like 6'7"? Prince Rippin? I'm like, I don't know, dude. I remember when they did Saturday night. Yeah, that shit was fucking badass, dude. I remember that shit. I don't know, I didn't watch it that night, obviously, but yeah, I caught it maybe the next night or a couple days later. So I'm fucking into that shit. And a big thing for me, what got me into music was going down. the rabbit hole of Kurt Cobain and learning all about fucking Courtney Love and fucking the whole goddamn thing, dude. Like just being so intrigued about the fucking fascination of his influences and his lifestyle and how he fucking lived and everything, dude. I was so intrigued by that shit. So the Black Keys are the same way. I'm like, damn, they're one of my favorite fucking bands. I love every song that they make. So what influence, like, where do they get their style and sound from? Because whenever I write my songs, people are like, "Who's your fucking influences?" And I'll be like, "Oh, it's these guys right here." But their influences are people like R.L. Burnside. So it's crazy how it sound develops and changes through generations. I was just mentioning that for the show. It's like technically you could think about it because the album that I'm writing is influenced by the Black Keys, and their album that they were writing was influenced by R.L. Burnside and Junior Kimbrough and these old school blues guys. That they're like the grandfather of my album. It's a pretty interesting way to think about it. Tyson bites, baby. Ow! Yeah, he does the toe too, dude. Sup, sup, sup. I had a friend who loved Black Keys to introduce me. I was saying that I introduced it to my friend whenever I was younger, and he would never stop playing it. Like their song "Lonely Boys," so good. It all comes from the blues. You're right, dude. Rock comes from the blues, and these people were just inventing it on their porch with a fucking guitar and just like sitting there and just telling their stories, bro. It's fucking beautiful shit. Total rocks the fruit, the flute. That's pretty cool. I've seen people do that shit with electronic flutes and stuff and violins. But again, that's like different than a flute because you're making it rock and roll at that point. Cool, cool. Thank you guys so much. Damn it, you got my kid going 6'7". These little motherfuckers, dude. We need to stop them. We need to stop them. Fucking start saying whatever the hell the man was saying a second ago. Hold on. Let me pull that shit back up. Fucking Timmy Tommy or whatever she was saying. Start saying that shit to them. Be like, fucking, I don't know what she was saying. I forget now. Anyway, you guys can go back up and find it. Fucking Prince Hendrix or something. Not Hendrix because I was just reading that off the thing, but Prince Jimmy or something like that. Do a riff on Cool Keith HB. I can do that. Let me write it down real fast. I'm always taking suggestions on who we should do. Cool Keith. What's Cool Keith do? Is he a blues artist or something? Yeah, I'll do one on him. Chuck Berry, baby, Chuck Berry. I gotta do Chuck Berry. Crazy man, but really fucking good blues guitarist, dude. You're looking for those bites, but I got some Tyson brand weed. Oh shit. Okay, cool. Yeah, I've heard it was pretty good. We were just talking about what he does his own fucking strains called the Woods. Woody Harrelson. They Might Be Giants. Did the Big Bang Theory theme song too. They're everywhere. Yeah. Write down Chuck Berry on here if I don't already have them. I don't think I do. Anybody else got any suggestions before we get out of here? He's old school. Fuck yeah, that's what I like. Old school and underrated, baby. That's what we like here. Anything old school and underrated, let us know. Oops. Thank you guys so much for showing up. Zach Wild requests. Zach Wild's fucking badass, dude. Yeah, I could do that. The real king of rock and roll. He wrote a bunch of Elvis songs from prison. Yeah, that's the guy who wrote Elvis. I was just fucking making fun of Elvis the other day. I'm like, it's gonna be hard to cover Elvis because he's like, he didn't write his own music, dude. It's like trying to cover Taylor Swift. It's like, what are we gonna cover? Are we gonna cover the artist who wrote Taylor Swift songs, or are we gonna cover her shaking her ass on stage? It's like, it's fucking pathetic. It's just like all a face for music, and I hate. It's like sellout, dude. I can't stand people who like write other people's music or people who have write people write music for them. Like either way, it's like selling your soul, man. But you're right. We should be giving this guy his credit rather than the people who take their songs, sing them. And so some people, it's no big deal, and I can respect that. But to me, it's just like fucking feels nasty. Have you done a spotlight on the White Stripes or Black or Jack White yet? No, but no, we will. It's kind of the same thing, dude. I fucking gotta cover Green Day's like you guys have to understand when we do here, we don't bring drama about what's going on, and for that's a perfect example. It's like drama between fucking Black Keys and White Stripes is like unnecessary shit to bring up, but it's hard to cover somebody and be me biased because I'm like I either like somebody or I don't like somebody, and I'm having to cover them. I'm having to smile through it and go, you know, I really like this band. They're really nice. It's like kind of like lying to myself and everybody else. So sometimes I just won't cover a band because I won't be able to do them the right justice of being like, fucking, you know, like I like a band, but sometimes my feelings get in the way of it. Like when people like have their own, like they get like too political or in that kind of crap, I'm just like cancel out. Or for about money and stuff like that, fame. I'm just like, is it really worth mentioning these people? The only ones like attention anyway. They're like it's all a competition to them. But yeah, we will cover them to answer your question. I think I have them written down, but if I do or don't, I will go ahead and write them down anyway. I want to be able to give everybody good representation. I don't want to like fucking rag on anybody. It's because people are fucking they're people, you know. Animaniacs, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, everywhere, dude, everywhere. If you call Animaniacs and Mickey Mouse Clubhouse everywhere, then yeah. Austin Street Spankers is fantastic. It's a Texas band for the 1990s. Austin Street Spankers. Heard that down too. From 1990s. Some of the bands we've been covering, or most of the bands we've been covering, are from 60s and 70s. We've been starting to kind of branch into the 90s and early thousands here. Having homemade chili, cinnamon rolls for din din, boy. All you need is a fat blunt. Take LOL, your take on Taylor Swift. I feel like I'll have to rag on her, but you know, it's like, bro, I would be like fucking me standing up there with a painting that somebody else drew and just like doing it half naked and selling out tickets all over the fucking world, dude. It's like pathetic, bro. Like I refuse. I do not love the Beatles. The Beatles are alright. I respect the Beatles, man. It's like, you know, it's like our parents. Like, fucking sometimes we don't always love them, but we always respect them. Getting me riled up on Taylor Swift, bro. I tell you, dog, don't fuck around with that bullshit, bro. If you're here to write music, then fucking write music. If you want to have somebody else write music, then let them get up on stage. I mean that shit. It's the Black Keys. They did this shit. They fucking wrote their own songs and recorded them and fucking released them. That's what I'm talking about. Fuck the bullshit, bro. Fucking really understand the physics of a song, the fundamentals of how music actually works and goes together like a fucking lock and key mechanism, and doing it together. And fucking, you know, they're like brothers. That's why the album that they have is called Brothers. They have to learn how to get along and travel across the world with these people and learn how to play their instruments good together. That's the language of music. It's like sharing one brain together. And we do that with a lot of our friends, right? But to be able to do it and then collaborate what we do our part. Like hey, I'm a drummer, man. I can bring this to the table with what I have, and you're a guitarist, so you have to bring your thing to the table. Muddy Water has a great story. Yeah, we'll be covering him soon too. Iodine in my copy. I'm hitting Reba, baby. It's pretty good. I'm not a champagne kind of guy per se, but I'll rock with you if that's what you got. I've one of Flay's videos say for you, yeah. Cool. Send it to me, man. You can hit me up on Instagram. I think we have each other on Instagram, right? It's just the same thing as my regular tag, Headbuster, all lowercase 290. Yeah, it'd be cool, man. Flavor Flav. Yeah, that's actually yeah. Yeah. Pretty cool, guys. Thanks so much for being here. Okay, I got another one picture I can pull up for you guys. It's the boys fucking jamming out on stage. Fucking big ass guitar. Patrick's not a big dude, man. We fucking be smacking the fuck out of those drums, dude. Wish I could play something for you guys. Fucking copyrighted. I can't play some clips for you. Just a second, pull it up for you. Just in case we all needed to know, Jurassic Park's doing something with a cell phone company. Oh, it's internet. We were looking at it the other day. There's this thing, I forget what it's called now, but it's um, Godzilla and Kong are fighting this alien. We are stretching the butter across the fucking bread here, dude. My house to jam, and we had to be 16, and I worked all summer, and my mom made me save half my money, but the other half I could spend. So I bought a drum set, I bought a bass, I bought all this stuff so that you could start a band. But my idea was that people would come to my house to jam, and they would play those instruments, so I could still play guitar. But the minute Dan came down to my house, he was better at guitar, so I had to start learning the drums. Wasn't there? So yeah, that's kind of how they started playing guitar. He was gonna play guitar, but then fucking Dan came over, fucking showed his ass up. He's like, "Fuck this shit. You're good as fuck, dude. Why don't you hop on that shit? Let me drum out." It worked out, man, for the better in the end. That's what I was saying. When we stay in our fucking lanes and we do what we're better at doing, instead of trying to get in fucking our egos attached, like, I want to be a guitarist. I want to be the lead guy. Fucking yeah, you're not a lead guy though. You're a drummer. Be a fucking drummer. Stay in your lane. Or yeah, you can go do your own thing. That's what I always say to people. It's like go fly the coop, do your own shit. If that's how you feel. Feeling froggy, jump that motherfucker shit. Don't get pad. The last Riffin with HB got removed due to copyright. Yeah, no, fuck them. They're all faggots on YouTube anyway. They're here because fucking we have to be, not because we want to be. But then we don't care about monetization. Yeah. Even like Billy Strings. Billy Strings fucking sick, dude. We should cover him soon. I gotta write him down. Coffee and a joint. It's a little stranger. Let me just go back and HBB nice. Yes, sir. Sorry. See you in a piece. We just remember have my time marks here. Um, 31.
Wasn't there a situation?
I know it sounds weird, but if you want to take
Get copyrighted, probably get copyrighted for this too, but
be my personality.
I'm all about trying to
Oh yeah, most
give people information they deserve.
Right, and the second single of that album, "Howling for You," another one of your biggest songs, which has like 500 million streams. That was a huge hit as well. Yeah, and I don't think that song would have been a hit if it weren't for Tighten Up. And the story with Tighten Up is that we finished Brothers, and we basically had it done. And I was like, I don't think. And at the time, we had just turned 30, and I don't know, you feel really so old. You feel like your career could be going away. And I just like remember thinking, like, I think we should try to write a song that's a little. I don't think we have a single yet. I don't think we have the song. So that's the one song we had Brian Danger Mouse produced on the record. So we were doing the Black Rock stuff on late night TV, and that stuff all tapes, done taping by like 6 in the evening. So we asked Brian if he would go in the studio with us those nights afterwards. So over 2 nights, we wrote Tighten Up and recorded it in Brooklyn. And
Over 2 nights, man. That fucking sick ass song. It's crazy. That's what I was saying. Like, we're just radio towers to the universe. It's just like spitting that shit into our head. It's like, fucking play this G chord. It's crazy to think about. Um, 35. We got one more clip here, okay?
we wrote Brothers. That we saw was in art. Yeah, no, it was a monster. It had security. Yeah, it was part of a bigger video. We, like we spent a lot of money having a big video made. Bob Odenkirk was the lead. He played a used car salesman. The shoot took days, and when they finally turned it into us, it sucked. It wasn't Bob's fault, but it just wasn't a good video. So we asked them to send us other stuff, And one of the things that we saw was this single shot that they did of this guy dancing to the song. And he clearly listened to it, thought up a whole routine. He knew all the words, and he had dance moves that he planned out and stuff. And there was just something immediately lovable about the clip. And, everybody at the label told us that we shouldn't do it, that we need to put out the big video. But we told them, we just thought it was stronger, this one shot. And we went with it. We went with our gut on that. What's really the meaning behind that song?
That's funny because we were just talking an episode about that, about trusting your gut. And that's what you should do, man. That's what I was just fucking saying. I'm a musician. I know what it's all about. Cannot fucking listen to what people are fucking buzzing in your ear. Half these motherfuckers aren't musicians anyway, and even if they are, none of them are big musicians, bro. So you cannot let these bitches tell you what the fuck you should be doing writing your music. Fucking, and no one, you shouldn't let me tell no one tell you what you should be doing in your life anyway. You should just be living your life for yourself. I love that fucking shit. And he asked me here at the end of this interview, the question you just heard, what's the meaning of the song "Lonely Boy" by Black Keys? He's like, it just means whatever you want it to mean. The interpretation is like open. Like they don't write songs with the meaning involved. And I love that because that's how my songs are too. Like the meanings sometimes evolve as you're writing the song. It doesn't come with a meaning. Like I'm not sitting down going, I'm gonna write a song about, going out in nature. So it's like not really. It's kind of lame. It's not how my songs write. I kind of just catch a vibe, depending on what the sound of the song is or whatever I'm working with, whatever I'm feeling. And music's best that way. I remember whenever I was younger, there was a interview. This guy was talking about that how to write a great song is to be able to make it to where it relates to so many people, where everybody can interpret it and make their own interpretations. Because somebody be like, "Wow, I never thought about listening to a song that way. I always thought he meant this." You usually do that with a lot of people if you talk to them about music. The blur and the strokes. Yes. Blur stroke 9. Blur stroke 2. Toe stroke 9 stroke. This is like a fucking super band. What the hell is going on, guys? Hell yeah. Cool. Last fucking minute of submissions here. We're gonna get out of here. We've been in almost about an hour. That's Mario. Dun, 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 dun. About to get copyrighted in this bitch. It's all about the vibes, man. It's the vibes, dude. Or the lack of vibes, right? Honestly, the blur, the blur. You guys are wicked. All right, all right. Gotcha, gotcha. I gotcha. Hell yeah. Appreciate you guys for joining us tomorrow, or not tomorrow. Shit, we might be like, you fucking never know what happens. We're all popping up in random places, but yeah, we'll be back Monday. We're gonna talk a little bit more about Bhagavad Gita, and maybe I'll try to do a collab episode with some personality types as well. And believe it's next week. Yeah, next week either be next Sunday or Monday. Because Sunday is National Women's Day, so it'd be nice to do it on the day of Sunday to do an episode lady thing. We're just gonna fucking celebrate all our underrated fucking women in society and shit. So if any girls want to come up on the show and represent for the ladies, keep that shit in mind. It would be Sunday or Monday, the 8th or 9th. All right. Santana, yes, sir. We're gonna cover Santana too. Yep. Cool. Yeah, I got Santana on my list, man. Don't worry, we're gonna cover him very soon. I already shared the clip of him tripping balls on the stage at Woodstock whenever I did the Grateful Dead interview. I'm talking about I was like slithering like his guitar was slithering like a snake. Come on, dude. It's crazy. Shows you like how to be free and play. Like just fucking play that shit by feelings, man. It's by vibes, dude. All right, y'all. I'm getting out of here. Fucking see y'all later. We just did a video earlier. If y'all go back and check it out, I did a live where I made 2 batches of um, sacrament pills, but works for medicinal herbal pills and stuff like that as well too. So go check that out. And we'll see you guys Monday. Y'all have a great night. If you have any bands that you want to see, make sure you put them in the comments. Like and subscribe on the way out. Thanks, guys. Bye.